Now this is my old tiller. Been sitting outside for a whole year at least, if not more. So we're gonna see about these points, kind of clean them up a little bit, and attempt to get her to run good again. So it's held on by 3 screws typically, but this one's broken off. So we just have the one over here that on the bottom and on the top. See if we can get in there and find that thing without it making too much, without too much to do. That should be about it. Alright. There's that one. And of course we got to know what the truck is. Now we get started on something here. And there's that, and here's this. Then we put the old shroud. Get up the cobwebs. And, well, it was a wasp nest piece. Vacated the premises, took it home with him, I guess. See the stuff. Okay, this is a starter clutch here that some of the people have a little problem with that because it starts to squeal and spit the rope back out at them and everything, and generally cause a mess up. You can't mess up the spring in the housing. So we got to take this off. Find my little 1/4 wrench right here. There's a socket. Take these off here so you can get your fins off. Not your fin, this thing. Screen. It keeps the dirt and debris and fingers out of the flywheel area. And so we take these off and we get this screen off. And then we go ahead and we put these screws back in. Now the reason for that is because this little tin plate right here covers, I don't know, 5 or 6 balls in there. And if you bang around and carry on, you knock this plate off. It's just barely sitting on a lip here. Then that thing will fall off and the balls will roll everywhere, and then you got to put them back together. And it's not a big deal putting them back in, but it's just less trouble if you don't have the problem. You got to chase them down and everything. So that's not a good idea. So then we get this done. Okay, now they make a tool to take this off. Matter of fact, I've got one, but it's not, mine's the oversight. The one I have is good for, I had 4 of these little bumps this side. The newer, believe it or not, the newer ones have that, bigger. I don't know why, but they do. Anyway, now this is see, there's a broken pin right there. But that hasn't affected this any. You know, some people might say, well, boy, it's going to be out of balance. Well, yeah, maybe so, but we ain't got a Lamborghini here. So it works and it gets the job done. So instead of using a tool or you can use a big pair of water pump pliers to take this off, then you have to hold it back in here. I imagine somebody was holding it by the fin and broke that and all. That's probably how it came to be, but that's probably that before I got a hold of it. Well, you can take this. Now we're not going to use the sharp edge of our chisel because I would start cutting in on that. There might be those would say, well, you're going to ruin your chisel end up here. So I would reply to that. I've got a grinder down there in the shop that works fine for sharpening up these chisels. And so it's going to take a few whacks to get this off of here. It's rather maybe the unorthodox way to do it, but it works. And people have done this for years before somebody came up with that little flywheel wrench, or before people could afford to buy one. Maybe that's more like it. Yeah, there you go. All right. All right, we got that. Now this is typically a starter clutch. And this is oiled up. I put some oil. I squirted some oil in it earlier to make sure it works. Then you have this called a Belleville washer. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's cupped. And it goes like this, cupped side out. It holds pressure on your flywheel. All right, and then what we have here, well, first off, this is your key right here. That keeps it in time. And they, well, mainly on lawnmowers they use aluminum key. They do on these too. They're all aluminum rigs. To companies they had some steel ones. But this is in case something jams it back there, it'll shear the key instead of tearing up something in your motor or breaking your crankshaft. Well, this little gadget is a knockoff puller. It's got a brass insert so you don't damage the crankshaft here. So you put that in there, and you get something like your chisel that you had before. You find a place in behind here that's not going to be, it's not going to damage your engine at all. You don't want to break a hole in it. You go back here and you plop that one time if you got a big hammer. That will cause this to come off. And flywheel, it's a heavy flywheel. Then you take your key off and you'll examine your key and make sure that it's not messed up. And this one's alright. There's no signs of it trying to shear or anything. So that'll work for that. And then you got this little points cover here, which of course contains your points and your condenser in here. Alright. Now take these little screws out and that gets your, and there, well, I see it. I see where it went. Alright, good enough. Anyway, there's another one. If you'll notice, there's a little, this little tin cover. It's sort of got a bulge here and one over here. That's because your condenser fits here and the nut on the point sets right there. You'll also notice that on here it says caution, and you can't see the rest of it. And it says, well, what else does it say on here? Well, I would read that, except I can't read it, and I don't know what it says. I can't remember. But at any rate, it probably maybe says on there set the points at 20,000, because that's what they are. No, nonetheless, we won't worry about that. We do have some rust down here, but that's just settled from, I guess, off this little pan. I thought that was aluminum, but I guess it's not. Let me check here right quick and see what that is. Nope, it's metal. So that's why it rusted. If it's aluminum, wouldn't it? That's not a big issue, no matter about the rust. Now this is your point, or your points on this little arm and on the condenser right here, the tip of the condenser. Let's take this off and have a look at that. And you don't want to lose any of your pieces. Put them in a secure place where they don't get lost, and preferably in that little pan that we just took off. And let's see here. You probably won't, if you don't work on these things much, you may not have a pair of these. That's been a little bit too long a war on there. And what this is for is you put this on here. There's a hole through this point, so through this condenser, where that wire goes, and the spring holds that. All that spring is for is to hold that wire tight. So you put this little point pliers in here like this, and you push it down, and it'll get set just right. Push it down, and then pull that wire out. And then you do not wish to lose your spring, because there's a little spring right here on top of that holds that, holds this wire in tight. Make a good connection. Okay, we'll put that down here. And then we'll take this off here. This is your points. The rest of the points, like I say, the newer ones, I don't know, maybe back, I don't know when, late 80s or early 90s, they quit using points pretty much. And so anything newer than that, you probably won't have to contend with all this. Now, the way I do this on these points is, if they're a little dirty, these are not too bad, but I'm going to clean them up a little. Turn your trusty Moto tool on. If you don't have one of them, you can use a file or sandpaper. They must be very clean. Now you want to keep that as flat as possible. You don't want to try to get, let me put this up here, then your condenser, put that spring down here. Then you just kind of do it on there too. So this is a real fine little cut-off wheel. It's real fine stone, so you're not cutting a lot off at once. A little bit at a time until you see that it looks mercy, shiny and free of the debris and free of any pits. Then you can go, when you get that done, you go ahead and you find your little spring, which you probably lost. No, it's got to be here someplace. Yeah, where did I do with it now? Here it is. Here it is, right where I put it. In the point cup. Now try to keep your fingers off of them at the end of this point. But we will clean them just a little bit when we get done. right after I get through manhandling, because this goes down, that hole lined it right, and this little wire goes in here, kind of curly cute, but it is. Okay, then that wire needs to be burnt down, but not against anything metal. And then we get this little piece of strap that holds that points on here. You know, I really miss them old days whenever we used points and all that stuff. Man, that was a good old days back then, but then things don't never stay the same, do they? No, they don't. Alright, then we put this thing back in, take our little 1/4 inch socket here. Spin that up just a little bit, not just real tight, but tight enough to kind of hold it. That's too tight. Get back down here, get back down here. There you go. Situate that little, there's a little slot right here where that point goes into. That's probably tight enough. Now we're going to put our points back on. See, this way here, when I do it, is like this. I put this on first and situate this thing in here. There again, it takes your 1/4 inch socket for that. And this one you can go ahead and tighten up, because it's all right there. You make sure it stays in this little, there's a little detent thing in this slot. Then you got to get your points in there. This has got almost a complete hole here. That goes on this little post right in there. You can hardly see it's under that bolt. And this part here is bigger, and it goes into your points. There may be a special way that goes, but I just usually do it however I want to. And I put it in there like this and like that. And I'm going to have to, like I said, my hands are going to be all over these points, and I'm going to have to clean them when I get done. But that's not a big issue. Get this thing back on this little hump. I'm not in your way. Put this thing on right on here. Dadgummit, now get in there. It's really a lot easier if you got this thing up on a bench where you can see what you're doing. Get that over that little post right there. There. Oops, nope, didn't stay. Get on there. Yeah, get here again. There you go. Now, and get this with your pliers. I've done this without pliers, but man, it's easier this way. Get it up there. Get this up there. You don't want to bend any of this little pot metal or flimsy stuff either. It's not pot metal. It's stamped out tin. So that's not right there. Now, and the little bar that's in there is just a ground anyway, so it doesn't really. Only I see one thing, I don't have my spring right. Gotta do it over. Gotta do it over. Okay, you go there. Put you back here and get you under that thing right there. Get you right there like that. And up and over and in there. Now, that is pretty much right there. Now, we got to turn this till we get our points to the highest position. You can see them coming up right there. They're high right there. There's a little plunger runs on the cam on your crankshaft here that moves that up and down. Alright, now let's see, this little thing here is almost too high. We don't want that thing here. We don't want this thing hitting it either. Get this down here and everything out of the way so it's just the points making contact. And then we got to bring this up. That's how we set the points right in here with our 20 thousandths gauge right in there. Maybe it's a tad higher. It's pretty close to right there. And we'll attempt to tighten and see what. Now we got to check it again. See what happens. And it's a little too much now. This happens. You probably have to adjust it a few times before you get it just right. It's kind of like adjusting the valves on your vehicle or on your lawnmower and stuff. You have to do it a couple of times to get it right. That's too tight. I can't move it. There. It's too much. I know it is. Yep. And what have we there? They're a little tight. Get in there, you. Still a little too tight.